Hello my pretty darlings. Welcome to my very first Q&A. Before we start off, I just want to thank you all for liking my animations and boosting my channel up. I feel like I haven't had a chance to thank you properly yet because it all happened so fast. It's just amazing to know that so many people like my work, and it's pretty overwhelming, so thank you guys so much. I love you all. Here's my special treat for you. See, I've been getting so many comments on my videos, and while I do try to read all of them, I definitely don't have the time to answer them all individually, even though I really want to. If I'll try to answer every single one, I won't have any time left to animate. So I decided to make a list of the questions I get asked the most, and I'm gonna answer them right now in this video. So, as you can probably hear, English is not my native language, but I'm gonna do my best to screw up my lines as little as possible. My apologies in advance. So, let's start off with some general questions, shall we? Here's one I get a lot. What program am I using? That's an easy one. I use Adobe Animate for my animation and Photoshop for the background and for the speed drawings. Although, fun fact here, the night was done completely in Flash CS5. I didn't have Animate back then. And Land of the Dead, I started off with Flash and I finished it with Animate. That's why in the speed scene video of Land of the Dead, the interface changes at some point. Alright, next question. How long did it take me to make these animations? The night took me 8 months to complete, and Land of the Dead, despite being significantly shorter, took me a year. And that's because the night was my graduation project, so I was working on it 24/7, and Land of the Dead, I could only work on it during my free time when I wasn't at my day job. So yeah, it was a lot harder working on Land of the Dead. Moving on, how come all the views appear just now? Some of you already noticed that I actually uploaded the night to YouTube in 2016, the year I graduated, and it just sort of sat there in my channel and it had barely a few hundred views for a long time. So why is it only getting attention now? Well, here's my theory. In September 2017, there was a release of a certain map I took part in. MAP, for those of you who don't know, is an acronym for Multiple Animators Project. That means a whole bunch of animators working together to produce a single animation, and each animator gets a few seconds to work on. The map I took part in was hosted by Scribble Kibble. It's a channel about animation, which I highly recommend to any animation enthusiast. I mean, even I studied animation and I work as an animator, and even people like me can learn new things from there. I put a link to her channel in the description, so check it out. Anyway, she hosted a map of the song Fly Away by Fat Rat. There's a link to that in the description too. And that map was pretty successful. There were some great animators working on it, and that's probably what brought people to my channel in the beginning. They liked the part I did, and they wanted to see my other work, so that was the initial start of where my views came from. From there, YouTube probably saw the sudden increase in views, so it started to push it in the recommended section. From there, it got to everyone all at once, and the rest is history. I don't know, that's my theory to how it happened. Maybe there's a different reason. YouTube is a weird place, man. And with that, let's move on to what we've all been waiting for, answering questions about the night. So of course, we're gonna start off with the one question that everyone and their mother has been asking me about. The one, the only, why was Missy turned into a vampire? Was she a vampire from the start? Was it the cane that turned her into a vampire? Did Duke bite her off screen when we weren't looking? Well, ponder no more, my darlings. Let me put your minds at peace. Yes, it was the cane that turned her. She is possessed by its evil powers, and she's being affected by it as long as she's holding it. I know, the way it was presented in my clip was very unclear, hence why everyone got so confused. So finally, the mystery is solved, Missy is possessed by the cane, and it'll make loads more sense when the 4th chapter comes out. Which brings me to my next question. Is it going to be a series? Yes, and not only is it going to be a series, it's going to have seasons. Yeah, I'm that far off ahead with the planning. The first season, the one that we're in currently right now, is going to have either 7 clips or 8 clips. One of them, I'm not sure if I should keep it there or move it to the next season. I'll deal with it as it comes. I don't know exactly how many clips are gonna be in the second season, but I already have ideas for like 20 songs I want to animate. I just haven't decided on how I'm gonna arrange them yet, because unlike the first season, which has a very specific chronological order, the second season is gonna be a little more lenient with the order of the clips. So you can pretty much watch them in whatever order you want because they each stand on their own. They don't tell one long continuous story like the one that we have now. So yeah, it's gonna be a long series. So with that said, when is the third chapter coming out? This question is gonna be the end of me. Darlings, I don't know if you know it, but animation is a lot of work. It takes a long time to complete. And I'm only one person, so I have to work by myself. I can't afford to pay other people to work for me. So it'll take some time. The good news is that the rough animation for chapter 3 is already halfway done, so I would say it'll take me about 3 or 4 months to complete, including coloring and compositing backgrounds, all of that. So hopefully it should be uploaded by January, but again, it depends on my day job and how much free time I'm gonna have to work on it every day. So no, unfortunately it will not be ready in time for Halloween, but that's okay, cause they can stay scary all year round. So here's one that didn't start off as a question, but I decided it's important to clarify that, so I put it here as a question. Is Duke supposed to be Voltaire? Okay, Voltaire, for those of you who didn't bother to stay for 2 seconds to read the end credits, is the guy who wrote and sang The Night, and Land of the Dead for that matter. Some of you already recognize him as the guy who sang the Brain songs in The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And kudos for those people. Basically, he's Duke's voice actor. So people who already knew him tend to call Duke Voltaire in the comments. I'm gonna have to clarify it right here. Duke is not Voltaire, he's a fictional character. The reason they look so alike is because I indeed based him on Voltaire, and I used a lot of Voltaire references in The Night, like the key that holds his cape and some other objects that appear in the background. But that was more for the sake of an in-joke. It doesn't have a deeper meaning beyond that. I mean, the last time I checked, Voltaire wasn't actually a vampire, and even though I haven't met him in real life, and I'm sure someone will confirm me if I'm right or correct me if I'm wrong, Voltaire comes across as kind of a nice guy. Sure, he writes awesomely dark and creepy songs, which you should totally check on his channel, I put a link in the description, but he's not actually evil. Duke, on the other hand, is evil. Sure, he has that fun, quirky Disney villain-esque evil, but he's still evil. And that's why we love him so much. Moving on, why did Missy enter the castle in the first place? Like, who does that? Who goes to read in a dark, abandoned castle in the middle of the night? No wonder she has glasses if she reads in the dark all the time. Well, my friends, clearly the answer to that is so that the clip can start. I mean, obviously, right? Nah, I'm just kidding. There's actually a real, very simple answer to that, but I'm not gonna tell you just yet. You know why? Because there's gonna be a clip that will explain it. Yep, I'm planning to do a clip that's gonna be both a prequel to The Night and also a little backstory of one of the characters. We're just gonna have to wait for the second season to see it. Next, why was it suddenly morning? First of all, in the world of this animation, we have no estimation of accurate time whatsoever. For all we know, Missy walked in there at 5 AM, so by the time they were done with their little dance, it was already morning. But let's think about it for more than a second. When you watch a 2.5 hours movie, does it mean that the story inside the movie also only took 2.5 hours to happen? No. So that's also how it worked in The Night. They were just running around the castle for hours until morning. And as a great man once said, haven't you heard of suspending your disbelief? Ah, this one I also love. How come Missy didn't die too once she pulled the curtains? Well, if you look close enough, you can see that she's standing in a dark corner where the sunlight didn't reach her. So yes, that means she had to stand there all day and wait till nightfall before she could go anywhere. Hilarious. Oh, and while we're on the subject of nitpicking, where did the hat go? You know, the part where Duke throws his hat and it just disappears. Why is everyone so obsessed with it? What the hell? The hat went behind the pillar in the background, people. I put extra work to make sure it'll disappear right there. But you know what? Fine. I'm a minority here. The hat went to the 5th dimension, where it shall forever be worn by Lord Zeno. Happy now? Good. So, let's end with something a little off topic. Is Leo gonna appear in a future clip? Leo, if you don't know, is a character I created some time ago, and he appears on one of my speed drawings. You can see it in my channel. Everyone thinks he's also part of the story, but that's not exactly the case. Back then I didn't have a story for him, he was just some random character I wanted to draw for fun, but now I think I have a place for him to exist. He came from a series that occurs in the same universe as the Duke and Missy one, and it's gonna be called the Cirque des Ziacs. It's basically about a circus that's filled with demons and monsters as the performers, each represented by one of the zodiac symbols. So Leo is obviously, Leo, and he's the lion tamer, or human tamer in their case. It's very much influenced by the Devil's Carnival, so I wanna go for something kind of in that style, but in animation form. I don't know exactly what to do with that series yet, but since it takes place in the same universe, and I do have ideas for some other characters I want to draw, I do plan on having a few cameos here and there in both series. I'm gonna upload some speed draws of the other characters from the circus whenever I get inspired, although it's very half-baked at this point, I'm not even sure on all the characters yet, but I'm still planning on making that happen too. So that's it for the questioning part. Let's end the video with a short update. I'm working pretty much non-stop on the 3rd chapter now. I'm gonna upload speed drawings every now and then, probably won't have a new one every week like I hoped, because I wanna focus on finishing the 3rd chapter first. Hope I can finish it as soon as possible, again, depends on my day job, but I have some exciting news. I have finally started a Patreon page, so if you guys want to support me and help me make the clips come out faster, that would be amazing. I would love to work on my animation 24/7, but unlike our undead friends here, I still have to eat and pay my rent, so yeah. Anyway, if you want to check out my Patreon page, support me, there's a link in the description, that would be great. I love you forever. So anyway guys, thank you very much for watching my videos and liking them. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments and I look into them and hopefully answer them in a future video. Please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you all and have a lovely night. Stay evil. Bye bye.